South Africa's largest online publisher, Naspers, accuses Google of international tax practices. Joining us now for more is Geoff Cohen, Chief Executive of 24.com. Geoff, you accusing Google of tax evasion or tax malpractices. What's this based on?
So I think that let's clarify some of the positions around this. I think the first part around this is, I don't think for a moment that we are suggesting that anything Google is doing, or in fact companies like Google are doing, is in any way illegal. What they're doing is absolutely legal. It is absolutely within their right to follow legislative practice inside South Africa and inside the tax codes of members of participating countries. So that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is that it's becoming more and more apparent in a globally digital world that the legislative structures around, or the tax codes that have been written up, need to address the fact that it is increasingly easy to raise revenue out of different geographies for the benefit of companies based very, very far away, without providing any of the returns back into society that a similar company would have to produce if they were competing locally. Does that stand? I think that's certainly a better way we would like to project the debate.
But why are you having a go at them now, Geoff? You do compete with Google all over the world. Brazil, China, well, not so much in China, but in many of the geographies, Naspers and Google go head to head. Here in South Africa, your home territory, as it were, is an interesting place to start. Are you going to be rolling out this campaign elsewhere?
So I think this is also an important point to make. I mean, quite often, the guys commentators conflate any of Naspers, many businesses, as speaking for Naspers as a whole. And that's not necessarily so in this case. In this case, I'm representing the interests of digital publishers active in South Africa and broadly in sub-Saharan Africa, rather than representing a Naspers point of view from a global perspective. So we're a very small digital business in a very small part of the world, and we raising a flag along with a number of other media owners saying, guys, legislators, take a look at this and let's have a constructive discussion on whether or not this is a problem, whether global companies like Google, like Facebook, to a degree like Apple, are benefiting at a higher ratio than local companies. And is there stuff that we should be doing to address potential levels of market dominance?
Can you quantify the benefit?
Quantify the benefit of what, Ali?
Of Google. Google's benefit, the way that Google is benefiting by using these practices. So
look, I mean, I think there's the easiest one for us to go for was or to hang the argument on, was really around the fairly aggressive tax practices that Google and other companies like Google practice. So if you had to take a theoretical line and say, in theory, Google is extracting more than R1 billion out of the local South African economy, you could apply a notional corporate tax rate on that and say that's what the fiscus is losing out on overall. You could further push it back and say, well, it is not just the effect of the fiscus losing that revenue, but it's also other media organizations or potential competitors, either directly or tangentially, that are prejudiced because they do have to pay taxes. Yeah? So I guess the short answer around that one is to say, look, the hard number is potentially whatever the corporate tax rate is on whatever the revenue raise in South Africa is.
Well, we got a statement from Google. Unfortunately, Julie Taylor, the communications manager of Google, is unable to come onto the program, but she did send us some statements, and let's just go through some of those. We've heard from Geoff Cohen, the CEO of 24.com. Julie says that Google complies with tax laws in South Africa and every country where we operate. Under current rules, VAT reporting and remittance is the responsibility of our advertisers who pay the same rate when they advertise with Google or any other company. Also, the allegation that we do not pay PAYE tax is completely false. PAYE is a payroll tax, and we pay this for every employee in South Africa. She also says that Google's committed to bringing users quality content as quickly and easily as possible, which is why we partner with valued publishers around the world who choose to list themselves in Google News. It's a debate that has only just started. Just before you go, though, Geoff, any update on the fight between yourselves and MoneyWeb?
I think that's kind of funny. Yeah, we've filed an answering affidavit, which is before the court. We're waiting for the final response from MoneyWeb, probably in the next 10 days or so. And we're quite keen on hearing more about it. As I say, like kind of it's a good debate to have. And in fact, if you had a look at like kind of that discussion along with the Google discussion, it's really about taking a new opportunity to recraft laws that were drafted before the internet was even dreamt of, which is quite exciting.
Good point. Geoff Cohen, Chief Executive of 24.com.